Welcome to the Regula Young Group's Seller Series. In this episode, Stacy and I will talk about what to expect now that your house is on the market. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good. This is getting your house on the market is an exciting time.
Yeah.
Now you have to be ready.
Yes, it is also, lots of stuff happening all at once. So why is flexibility with showings important in today's market?
Well, you want to give your home as much opportunity to be viewed, so you can get as many buyers in as possible. And everyone's got different work schedules, so you got to try and accommodate that. If it's too difficult to get into your house, they're just going to go to the next one. So.
Right. Yeah. What should sellers be doing before every showing to keep their home in top shape?
Just basic cleaning and
shoveling.
It is important to shovel. I have shoveled many driveways as a realtor, and it would be nice if the sellers did it. Kind of give it a quick vacuum.
Just pick up the dog poop.
Fold up the blankets
on
the couch. Just kind of try to think about how it is when you went to see a house,
Yeah, I like to give my sellers a checklist, and so that they don't forget to do things like putting down the toilet lid. It's a big pet peeve of mine because I feel like, especially since COVID, everyone's a germaphobe these days, and things like that turn people off.
Yes, this is true.
The bathroom looks way better once that toilet lid is closed.
Especially if your toilet's not clean.
Well, hopefully it's clean too, because you are having showings. But yes, those are things to check before you leave the house. I've had gone into houses that I'm showing, and it happens, especially with little kids. There's they forget to flush, and with today's current buyers after COVID, everyone's a germaphobe, so that kind of stuff is less appealing.
Yep.
And so why is feedback sometimes limited, and how should sellers be interpreting that?
I don't know about you, but I find that feedback in the city is harder to get than rural feedback. And I think part of that would be because when you're showing houses in the city, you typically have anywhere from 2 to 10 showings, and then they all kind of look the same after a while.
Right.
I try to take notes, but sometimes if your buyer's got kids or they're brought lots of family members, it's really hard to keep track of everything. And it is a courtesy to give feedback, and we do try and request it. And there's an automatic a lot of people don't know this, but there's an automatic text that goes out from the app that we use to book showings that requests feedback. It's within 24 hours. But I feel like some agents are scared to give their feedback because sellers and realtors sometimes get really defensive about it if they give their true opinion. So I think you need to take the feedback into consideration with an open mind, because if one person said it, there might be 5 other people thinking it, or it might just not have been for those people. So
right,
just take the feedback and kind of gauge how showings have been going. Have you had lots of showings? Have you had similar feedback from other agents? But yeah, it is hard to get feedback.
It can be really hard to get feedback. Last year I saw this happened in the States, but sometimes we look at what happens in the States because it can happen here. And a realtor gave feedback, and that their seller was not interested in the house. He gave the feedback, and then she sued him because it affected their negotiations when she came back to try to buy the house. Yeah. And so she sued him for whatever it was. I don't remember, but And I'm like, yeah, like sometimes our feedback can affect our negotiating stance. So sometimes, like when I know my clients are interested in a house, I don't like to give feedback or as much feedback other than they're interested. um, you know what I mean? Because sometimes the feedback can bite us in the butt in negotiations. So yeah, I think sometimes it has to be strategic. And how should sellers interpret that? Sometimes like it is up to the listing agent and the sellers to figure out why the house isn't selling.
Yeah.
We are in a cooperative um, system, but like as a listing agent, we can call on other realtors in our own brokerage and be like, can you come out and, see what you think? Like if,
I've even asked like local agents that, if you're in a specific area,
yeah,
hey, I know you saw this house, like you're local, like what's your thoughts on the
yeah,
house and the price? And most of the time they'll let you know. It is important to get feedback from
yeah,
everyone if you can. But I
yeah.
also think that we shouldn't be taking screenshots of the feedback and sending it to our sellers. We should kind of be like, you know,
Sugarcoating it. No, maybe not quite sugarcoating it, but maybe
have
not.
them on nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and why is it usually better for sellers not to be home during showings?
That's just awkward.
I agree. The buyer needs
Ours
to
are
be.
awkward too. Yeah.
Yeah. How does the buyer ever feel like they could see themselves living there if they can't even freely walk around and look in cupboards without feeling awkward?
Yeah. I feel like the realtor can't, help their buyer if the seller is lurking. I understand some circumstances, it's seniors and bad weather, health issues, they have to stay home, but at least like go sit in a different room or something. Uh,
Yeah.
I've had showings with sellers just kind of like I'm trying to point out the fact that the house is like extremely slanted and the seller's standing behind me, and it's not my listing. I'm there to represent my buyers, and I want them to see this, and uh, it's difficult to have that conversation. So if you want your house to sell, people should feel comfortable when they come to see it.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. And I know when I have to do a showing where there is sellers present, I tell my clients to text or like write it in a text, even if they don't send it, but like keep track of the things that they wanted to like point out, and that way we can have a discussion after. Because yeah,
Yeah,
it can be uncomfortable talking about some of the issues. You also don't want to show the seller how much you love it, right? Like
yeah,
you
there's
want
that.
to zip.
Yeah,
And I mean, that could also lead into how many sellers are recording the showings these days. Like, you know, I don't feel like recording us should limit me in talking about the problems with the house, because it's my job as the buyer's agent to talk about the problems with the house. But sometimes we do need to cool our jets when we love a house because
yeah,
the seller can be listening and it can affect our negotiations.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right. 100%.
Yeah. So, yeah, even though the sellers often do leave, they could be listening.
Yeah.
So, that is what to expect when your house is on the market. I think we missed one question. Oh, yeah. How can sellers keep their home and belongings secure during showings? Put everything of value away,
Yeah.
especially if it is like sentimental value, because that can't be replaced. Put
Yeah.
stuff away.
And like if you don't want people opening like both doors, like front and back, like you can put sticky notes. You could put something kind of there so it's like clear that they're not to be going in and out of that door. Uh,
Right.
not everyone reads our instructions and touch base. It's
Having
yeah,
an instruction right in their face is much better.
yeah. Polite
Yeah.
instructions though, but
Yes.
just basically when your house is on the market, be prepared for people to come see it, and that you're going to have to leave for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. they really like it, an hour.
Yep.
And like sitting out front, staring at them, seeing the house is not helping either. So go park down the street.
Out of their sight anyway.
I've been before, and you're like, I can see you.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
But you want people to feel comfortable. Think about how you would feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up.
Awesome. Thanks for listening. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and share. Bye.